And now I'm going to move on to the blue, as I said before in the previous video. But I'm not going to be using the royal blue color that is part of Double O Rising. I'm going to paint this kit the sky blue, as you see here. Now, I was toying with the fact that I was probably planning to use another type of paint close to the color scheme of Double O Rising, pretty much of all the other kits. And I had Brilliant Blue, which is nowhere to be found. I have to move a few things around the house, around my room recently, and I can't seem to find where I placed it. But I'm not going to use Brilliant Blue. I kind of like this color better. The other color that I could have used was this one, which is basically normal blue. But I want to avoid spray cans now. I want to try to use this. At first I was looking at this color, and as you can see, that was the color that I was probably looking into. But I said, you know what, that color is way too light. Let me open it up and see what results this paint is. Okay, judging by the content of the pigments on this color, it pretty much goes to show that it's a little darker than this color. Maybe when it's sprayed it'll lighten up a bit, and maybe I'll give it 2 coats. But maybe I should use it. I am digging the color. I really like it. And going based on the manual here and this, I think that's fine. Now, I did mention it before that I wanted to maybe paint this kit the designer colors, and this blue seems to be perfect for that. However, during my investigation, I've discovered something that I cannot do with this kit. I cannot make it the designer colored version of the of this kit because of one specific thing. It needs the decals, the specific decals. Look at the picture that I'm showing you right now. This is a picture that, from the No Grade kit that has some of the design decal features that I was referring to. And look at the tips of the wings and the shoulder armor and stuff. As you can see, it's a lot more unique. It's a little bit more custom. And for those of you who have the designer kits, you probably are aware of that. I cannot do this on this kit. I would have to get the decaled version for the master grade. And guess what? It is out of stock everywhere. No one has it. Now, many of you people will say, why don't I just custom make my own decals? Or, you know, cover up the parts and then make the design yourself. You know what? I could do that. But today's Monday. I got 4 days to get these kits done by the end of the show, and I don't have time, unfortunately. But I will still change the color scheme, so I will paint it this blue. So let's move on. Okay, got my Iowata airbrush ready with the sky blue paint ready to go. See what kind of results we get with this paint. Tweaking the airbrush, I was able to clock back some of the pressure that was on this brush, on this device, so I can then control the amount of paint that I'm applying. And I gave it a 30-70 mixture of thinner and paint. I'll give you a better exposure of this of these parts later on. Let's try a different part. This guy. For those of you guys who are new at airbrushing, don't rush it. I learned it through experience that if you rush a paint job, you will cause a little bit more damage to the paint on the part, and it is very, very difficult to repair. Through my experiences with certain kits, I learned that if you don't do it properly with painting a part, sometimes the part will not conform or will not match certain the way you paint it. So if you paint one part blue and another one blue, and the other blue is a little too dark, you'll get some unevenness. So there are ways to figure these things out. Let me just show you a part here that will probably best describe what I'm talking about. This is part of the shoulder armor, or actually the torso. It's actually two parts in one. I could have easily painted both of them separate, but I decided to put it together so that way I can even out the paint job. Now, reviewing this part, I really didn't have to glue them together, but I wanted to get, have them hold up by its friction, so that way I can then do this. I was a bit skeptical at first when I purchased it because I didn't understand it, and my first try, the paint was splattered all over the place. So taking a step back, I realized, wow, this is a great investment. Of course, I realized there was something else that I needed. Your hand gets really tired, of course, when you airbrush. So sometimes you want to take a pee break or get a cup of coffee or something like that, right? Well, guess what? Where the hell am I going to put the airbrush once I'm done? I don't want the paint to spill, especially if I have leftover paint inside. I'm going to have to invest in one of those little support devices that you can actually put your airbrush on. Alright, now that came out good. I'm going to do another pass later on, just like a light pass, to make sure I cover whatever holes I missed. Alright, let's get something a little bit bigger. This guy. should have foreseen the fact that I only needed those decals, those designer colors. Well, that was a worthwhile try. Yeah, I know, I could have easily designed my own, but I really have no time for that. I would like to thank those who sent me links on how to paint this kit with designer colors either way. I appreciate it, and thank you very much. The website that I was shown was a website called Mech9. The way it is, but I'll give it another pass, of course, later on. Where is the other part that I would... Oh, here it is. Again, as I was referring to before, I wanted to get, make sure that the paint is applied evenly to all the parts. So here's the shoulder armor. Again, it's being held by its own peg friction, which I'm going to remove. I don't have to worry about the seam line because it's actually part of the design itself. And considering that the GN drive is going to be over this part, it really wouldn't matter either way. But it needs to be painted. I was a bit worried that the blue color, when I was turning it, mixing it, or stirring it up a bit so that way I can get the pigments up and running, it will have the same consistency as the same paint that I used to paint the white parts, which was a pain in the ass to do. Thankfully the blue doesn't seem to be having that problem. Let's try another big part. It's this guy. Also, be very careful with parts that are big and you believe that it's only going to be exposed to one area. You want to make sure this one, even though majority of the time you'll probably be seeing it from this angle, it will be popping out, so you'll have this area that's going to be exposed as well. So I'm going to cover the entire every part of this kit. Part, too. try one last big part before I continue on. I don't want to spend my entire time airbrushing. I got recording me airbrushing. It's coming down to the wire. I want to make sure I get all these parts done and this kit assembled. And then I got to retouch up the other two kits. Shame really that I couldn't do a fourth one. But 3 is better than 1. If everybody remembered last year. Oh, by the way, I never bothered to ask. And I'll ask again later on when I do a post review. Anybody going to the show? Just PM me, let me know. I will do a video before I go. So stay tuned to Thursday's. Stay tuned for Thursday. I'll upload a video soon. Let me do